848, 55 KRCD Talk Station. Brian Thomas with Dave Hatter, Libertas Technologies. Dave, always a pleasure to see you, man.
Ditto. Glad to be back.
You know, you're like a rock star out there in the whole IT world. Are you writing articles in the Business Courier, Info World? I'm going to hear about those in a minute, but real quick before I jump into a couple of topics you want to tell folks about, why don't you give my listeners a real quick overview of what Libertas does, and then I'm going to talk about security and some website issues.
We're a company that focuses on business process improvement and process automation. Generally, we build custom software applications that help businesses save money.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that, man, especially in this economy. I guess Your business has to be booming right now.
Yeah, we're pretty busy because people are obviously always looking for ways to save money, and if you can take a process, improve it, and automate it, there's no way you can't save money.
Okay, and now if you're a business owner, manager, IT guy, anything out in the business world, and you're interested in saving money, Dave is a guy that can do it. Dave's going to stick around after the program and answer any specific questions you've got, but we'll give you his website and everything else. But let's talk about security. Real problem lately, and I know many business owners are worried about security.
It is. It's a huge problem because so many people don't really understand the risks that they're at. You know, there's huge risks. Hackers want to hit your database. They want to steal your customer information. And a lot of these risks, I mean, there's a lot of really advanced solutions you can do, but a lot of these risks can be mitigated just simply by having strong passwords. Wrote an article about this for the Business Courier several years ago. You can get it from their website if you just go there and search on passwords or Libertas Technologies. And it's so important because even on your computer, whether it's a big elaborate system or just your computer, if you're using social media, and who isn't nowadays,
right?
It's so important to have a strong password because what most non-technical people don't understand is hackers can get something called a dictionary program, which will literally test every single word in the dictionary. So if your password is a word that exists in the dictionary and or is easily guessable about you because it's some kind of personal information,
that's a bad idea.
That's a very bad password. If it's less than 6 characters long, it's a bad password. So
it should have symbols or numbers in it or something as well as letters, right?
Exactly. It should be at least 8 characters long, ideally. It should have symbols and numbers, and it should be some kind of word that does not exist in the dictionary. Ideally, then it becomes difficult to remember, right?
Right.
And one simple way to do that is to pick a word, something that someone couldn't guess about you, and then replace letters in the word with similar symbols or numbers, like maybe use the @ symbol for A, or use the number 1 for L, so that you can remember the word.
The $sign for S.
Exactly. And then 7 for T,
perfect.
3 for E, and then replace the letters in the word. So you remember the word, simply do these replacements. If it's 8 characters long, you got symbols, you got numbers, it's going to be very, very difficult to hack, and you can save yourself a lot of grief simply by following those rules.
That's some sage wisdom right now. Now let me ask you this real quick before we leave that topic, because I want to ask you about websites and the fact that, amazingly, some businesses don't have any, but using the same password everywhere you go, also a bad idea, right?
Very bad plan, because then if they get one,
right,
they can get all.
And I guess you're only secure as the organizations with whom you do business. So if you dealt with an unscrupulous organization, you had to sign up in order to become a member or buy something from them, you're using a password that group could take and try to use elsewhere.
Exactly, and that's always true. You do need to be careful about who you're doing business with out there.
Okay.
And there's a huge attempt by all kinds of criminals, hackers, fraudsters everywhere to steal information because of the value of it nowadays.
And isn't it crazy? If they put as much effort, and I'm sorry for the digression, into legitimate income, they would be millionaires, but it's what they do with hacking.
It's so funny that you mention that, because I frequently said, all these hackers and so forth and virus writers, if they would just devote their energy and intelligence, because it's not simple to do this stuff, to legitimate purposes, not only would the world be a better place, but they'd probably do really well. Okay,
now on to websites. It seems to me that every business has to have one these days. Most people first stop shopping. They got the portable handsets. I got my BlackBerry with internet access. If I'm going to look for a business, I'm going to type in their name on the internet and try to find the page.
Well, you just made an excellent point. It's not only important to have one now, but as time wears on and more people are lured by the instant gratification of tools like Google, where you can find what you want so quickly, and you can take that out on a handheld device, a smartphone, PDA, whatever. It's only going to be more important for your business to have a presence out there on the internet where not only can people find you, but they can quickly and easily understand what you do. So, yeah, it's only going to become more important over time. And I found a real interesting BBC article the other day about small business and how many of them don't have websites or don't really have websites that are working for them to help customers find them, first off, and then understand what it is that they're selling.
Well, and I have encountered that so many times, Dave. It's just beyond my comprehension that you could go to a website and they don't even have fundamental information there, like how to find them, their address, hours of operation, simple things that you see on the front door of a storefront. It's not even on the website.
That's an interesting point. And I think a lot of times people get lost in the idea that websites really shouldn't be about technology. It's about marketing and sales. It's about business, right? You're spending money on a website because you expect a return on investment, or you should, just like if you did print material or radio advertising or whatever. And you got to focus on who is your audience. What can you give to them that will hopefully convince them to do what you want? That sweet spot that we talked about last time.
Exactly. And nobody knows the sweet spot like Dave Hatter when it comes to business and web design, and he can help out your business. And again, if you have questions about security, website design, maybe some of the software applications Dave does for helping businesses save money, you give him a call right now. If you choose 749-5500, pound 550 on your AT&T phone, Dave will stick around for as many phone calls as he's got. Dave, man, it's always a pleasure to see you. Appreciate your Facebook postings, and I appreciate the emails I get from Libertas Technologies, too.
My pleasure.
Some great information there. And check out his articles in the Business Courier. Dave Hatter, Libertas Technologies,